Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. Welcome back to my Walker Air Transport series, the tour, the Nascar 2022 tour. So here, the first weekend in June, we are going to Worldwide Technology Raceway, which is outside of St. Louis, and we'll be heading out of Concord Regional here in North Carolina. So we're looking at about 505 nautical miles is I think what we're looking at. Think I have everything loaded. We're going to be using a Cessna CJ4. We've got a small airport we're taking off from, so I know we landed a pretty big plane in here in the last series. Still going to use, I think, most of what we had. We'll see how self-loading cargo goes. That may get dumped in the middle here because, again, we'll have one flight attendant or something, but, we're not going to have a lot of folks, and I'm just not sure how cleanly it's going to work. And similarly, GSX might not make sense for a small little Cessna like this, so it'll be more about beyond ATC and FSLTL for traffic and so forth, but we'll get going from that. Got everything loaded with Walker. We're going to start on ramp 2, I think. So let's get in here. Not quite sure why it keeps... Oh, actually, I guess it was okay being where it was, so that's fine.
Beyond ATC connected.
Alright, so we're just going to have food, drink, and alcohol service as we go. That should be okay. Alright, so we need to get the plane started up here, so we'll get the battery on. Get the caution off. That will get us moving along here. So we're gonna...
Hello.
Hi, Captain. How are you?
Hi there. I'm very well, thanks.
Great. We're just preparing the cabin for the passengers. We'll speak to the terminal staff once a door is opened and find out how long they think it'll be until boarding begins.
No worries. You can open the doors whenever you're ready.
No problem.
Alright, so we should be all set there. So we're going to get our avionics on. Well, we're going to get our seatbelt set, actually. Let's see. So we can get our beacon, our nav. Where's our seatbelt light here? I don't know that I remember that. But let's see.
Hello?
Hi. Okay, I've spoken to security, and I'm told they'll be ready to send the passengers down to us in a few minutes.
Okay. Feel free to start boarding whenever they're ready to come on board. Let us know once you've started.
No problem.
Okay. So we have that. Do want to make sure. Let's see, we need how much fuel? 4,500. Okay, so we've got flight set. So we should be good there. And then we're going to want our nav lights, our strobe lights. Should be good. Get our avionics on. And then we got to get our... Whoops, let's see. I think that was... There we go.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please.
You're loud and clear. 5 over 5.
Okay, Captain. Radio check is complete. We'll contact you when we're ready to start loading.
Roger.
Alright. So we're going to want to initialize the position. So we'll get that set. Clear out here. Whoops. Alright. and then we're going to go to the route menu. We're going to recall the flight plan. Hopefully it'll pull it in. We should be good. There we go. So we're going to execute. Starting to get things as we would expect to see them. And so, let's see, we'll go to performance, performance initialization, takeoff. Let me take a look at our settings here. Alright, so we've got wind, 320 at 4 knots, so not too bad. Temperature's 25. We are 3008 on the altimeter, so we're going to want to fix that. Oh, we've got the fun here of being on the other setup, so let's see, hold on, whoops, no, the nav's right, I want that, and then, whoops, just trying to get all these set is always a bit fun. Alright, and then we want to go down to the pressure, change that so that we're in inches. Now we can put the menu away, and then we want to go to 3008. So let me tune our ATIS. Whoops. Can't see my settings. Too many things here.
Sky condition clear. Temperature 25. Dew point 12. Altimeter tree 008.
Okay.
Landing and departing runway 02. Advise on initial contact you have information Juliet.
Okay, so we're going to go to the flight plan.
Concord Regional Airport information Juliet. 171A Zulu. Wind tree 25 at 4 visibility 10. Sky condition clear.
Sorry, a
Temperature
little bit
25. Dew point
moving
12.
along. So we're going to be on Bobsy 5
Landing and departing runway 02.
and runway 02
Advise
as
on
it
initial
says.
Contact you have information Juliet.
Okay, I'm going to switch to clearance, and we'll get ready to call for that in a bit. Alright, we should be loading soon, I think. We'll be good. The cabin crew are managing the doors, so we're not going to play any of those games. Alright, and then we're going to go here. Whoop.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Just a quick update to let you know that we've started loading. We'll send the final load sheet up once we're ready.
Roger.
Okay, we should be getting passengers shortly, so I assume that will
All
happen.
stations prepare to start boarding.
There you go. Let me announce the ground
Cockpit to
crew.
ground.
Well, they are taking a while.
Go ahead.
We're starting the APU. Please stand by as we'll be disconnecting from ground power shortly.
Roger.
Alright. So we should be okay.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. Just to let you know that the passengers have started boarding.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Seatbelt should be on.
Good afternoon from the cockpit. This is your captain speaking. I'd like to welcome you on board this afternoon as we fly to St. Louis. We're currently preparing for departure up here in the cockpit, and once we're airborne, we'll be climbing to our cruise level of 22,000 feet. We hope to depart very shortly. We're not expecting any delays. The cabin crew will start securing the cabin once the aircraft has pushed back from the stand. As we make our way to the departure runway, please make sure you're seated and secured as they make their way around the aircraft. The weather is not looking particularly brilliant, so it might be a little uncomfortable at times as we climb to our cruise level. There's
Might
nothing
have
to
some
worry about.
storms
Just
in
make sure you keep an eye
between,
on the
so...
seatbelt sign, and I'll turn it off once we're in clearer air.
Alright, so we're going to be going to Boosh, and we're coming in on 30 right
Ground to cockpit.
versus Tyreesh, so yeah.
Welcome aboard this Walker Air Transport service.
Go ahead.
Please ensure to place your bags either in the overhead compartment or in the seat
Loading
in
has
front
been
of
completed.
you.
Resetting
We
the load
should be
sheet
on
up to
our way soon, so make sure to
Okay.
fasten
Contact
your
you once the
seatbelt
aircraft is
and
closed up,
move
then
your
you'll
seat
get seated.
to its upright position.
Roger.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. Okay, here's the load sheet from ground. I've written the passenger count here, the crew count here, and a total number of souls, not including yourself, here.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, looks like we're all set to go whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. You can close the doors whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll let the crew know, and we'll get closed up as soon as we can.
Alright, I
Cockpit to
think we've got
All
most
stations ready to
everything. I think I should be good. There's not really an APU
Go ahead.
on this, so...
Disconnect ground power, please.
Roger. Stand by, please.
Alright,
Ground power has been disconnected.
so we should have everything we need here. Okay, got a little quieter, obviously. We've got the doors. Let's see. Why am I not getting what I need? I'm not quite sure. Alright, so I need to get a clearance. So let's go ahead and request clearance. Charlotte clearance. Request IFR to St. Louis, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, Charlotte clearance, cleared to Lambert SD Lewis Airport, Bobsy 5 departure, with the Bobsy transition, then is filed. Maintain 5,000. Departure frequency 128.325. Squawk 2211.
Cleared to the St. Louis Airport via the Bobsy 5 departure. Bobsy transition then is filed. Maintain 5,000. Departure frequency 128.325. Squawk 2211. Walker 4021.
Walker 4021. Read back correct. Contact ground 121.85 when ready for pushback or engine start.
Contact ground 121.85. Walker 4021. Alright, so let's get the transponder set. So it's 2211. There we go. We're in transmit mode. So we should be okay there. Confusing part is, you know, I have seatbelt on. So I don't understand, but it's just not picking things up there. Alright, anyway. Concord ground, request push and start, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, Concord ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face south.
Face south, Walker 4021. Alright, so that means we want to go to the right because of the way we're sitting. So just make sure that we're good there. And then we're going to go ahead. Whoops.
Roger.
Ground to cockpit.
I didn't do the
Go
pushback.
ahead.
So I didn't finish that communication. So
Call me when you acquire pushback.
Actually, we're all set to go now. Feel free to get connected.
Roger.
Okay, so we were a little bit late. We're leaving a minute late, so I lost a bit of time there. So we'll just use SLC here, self-loading cargo, to do that.
Ground tow is connected.
Oops, I didn't have my controller on. But yeah, we're at 5,000. So I think we should be good. We got nav. We've got VNav. So I think we're set on everything we need.
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Just a reminder, if you're using software to track your virtual airline flights, you might want to start it now, if you haven't already.
Okay. And I am doing that already.
Roger.
So we are all set, but just double checking that. So that's the worst thing. You go through this. Oh, we haven't pushed back yet, so we're actually losing more time. So not doing great there, but in any event, they're inserting the bypass pin. Let me see. Let's put us out here, because then we're going to have to do the engine start and all that.
Tow is attached. Steering pin is inserted. Stand by while we start pushdown. Please release your parking brake.
Alright, there we go. We release the parking brake. Alright, are we going to move? Oh, I guess I have to push the button
Parking
here.
brake released.
Roger.
Alright, so I'm not sure. It's not technically counting me back anymore. But let me get everything set to be able to start the engines, get the flaps set. Alright, so they're coming up. Now we still lost another point, because I think until we start moving, I think we're technically not really there, so. All right. There we go. So we got aircraft movement.
Okay, Captain. We clear the stand, and you're free to start engine.
Okay. We want tail right.
Cabin crew, please arm doors and cross-check.
Ground. Please push so we're facing left. Starting number 1.
Roger.
Starting engine 2.
Roger. Please set your parking brake.
Okay. Kind of in the grass here, so that's not great, but probably going to get in trouble.
Parking brake is on.
Welcome on board this Walker
Stand
Air
by. Please
Transport.
keep your parking brake on while
We
we
please
monitor engine
ask your
start up
attention
and connect
as
the
we demonstrate the safety features on this aircraft. Please make
Okay.
sure your bags are either in
Everything's
the overhead
firing
compartment
up.
or under the seat in front of you. It's important to fasten your seatbelt, even when the sign is off.
It's removing
in
the
case we pass through
bypass
unexpected
pin.
turbulence. During taxi,
Put our
takeoff,
covers
and landing,
back.
please fasten your seatbelt and make sure your seat is in the upright position.
Okay, Captain.
In
Looks
case
like
of
we could start up on all
depressurization,
engines. So it's
oxygen
disconnected.
masks
Nose
will
wheel
fall
straight.
from
So
above
you're
your
good to
seat.
go. We'll get
Please
ourselves
wear yours
disconnected
first
now.
before
We'll have a
helping
safe
children
flight.
and others.
Look out for the pin on the right, and we'll see you next
In
time.
case of an emergency, there are doors in the
Thanks
front,
for the help.
middle,
Pin on
and
the
back
right,
of
and
this
we'll see you next
aircraft.
time.
Locate the one nearest you, and it may be behind you. At this moment, please make sure your phone is switched to airplane mode, your seatbelt is fastened, and your seat is on its upright position. For
All
further
right.
information, please read the safety information card located in the seat pocket in front of you. Thank you for flying with
Cabin
Walker Air
crew,
Transport.
please take seats for
We wish
takeoff.
you to seat back, relax, and enjoy your flight.
Okay, let me make sure. So I think we're okay. We'll start moving. And again, we'll get onto the tarmac because obviously that's where we want to be. Okay, what is happening and why are we not moving? Did it like leave me in some ditch or something? There we go. Alright. What we don't want to hear is screaming passengers. Because then that'll be too much otherwise. Alright, let's see. So I'm just trying to make sure the crew's all set. Alright, we don't need anything from them. Alright,
Captain.
I do not want to release the cabin crew, so...
Give me a call if you need anything else.
Should be all set. Head out here to the taxiway. Alright, and runway 2 will be down here. So should be all set. Heading in the right direction. I apologize for the sound going in and out. I will need to make sure the music is off, which it is. Messed up my last recording quite a bit, so obviously we don't want to do that again. But we've got a few planes sitting here. Looks like it's telling me we've got some Skyhawks. Another Skyhawk over there. So, a bunch of little Cessnas, as you'd expect. Again, that's FSLTL doing the injection. Now, it does tell me the seatbelt sign is on, but it hasn't, like, checked the seatbelt. Check taxi, ensure your seatbelt is switched on before and during taxi, and maybe that's because we're not done taxiing yet, so it's technically not going to give me that. Oh, there's a Beechcraft. I'm just looking at my little nav map giving me my details there. Technically, I don't need to go all the way to the end, but... Oh, you know, we never asked for request taxi to the runway. I better do that. Request taxi to runway, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, runway 2 taxi via Alpha.
Runway 2 via Alpha, Walker 4021. Alright. So, forgot about my Beyond ATC, because everything... Alright, and we did get in trouble because we were unable to we were on the grass, so we made passengers anxious. Very sad, very sad. So I think they didn't get to secure the cabin because I had them sit right away.
Tower 3465.
Contact Tower 134.65, Walker 4021. Concord Tower, Walker 4021, request departure.
Walker 4021, Concord Tower. Windtree 25 at 4, fly heading 260, runway 2, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 2, cleared for takeoff, Walker 4021. Alright. So, let's see. Probably in trouble on the taxi lights. I don't know that I did that. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know that we are currently holding position. There's an aircraft departing in front of us. It should only take a few moments, then we can get going. Thank you.
So, I just don't want to get in trouble as I'm sitting here, so we want landing lights. Should be all set. Everything's good. Alright, so I think we have everything we need. Get ourselves set, cleared. Get my trim moved down a little bit.
Landing gear.
Landing gear what? They're down. That was a Microsoft Flight Simulator announcement. So I'm not sure what that was about, but anyway. Alright. So we will power up, and we will get out of Concorde here. So I think it's a little bit over an hour flight that we should be expecting.
$100 knots.
Alright. Positive rate.
Positive rate. Gear up.
So I want to be careful that I don't go too fast. So I'm going to slow myself down here. But I should be able to get the autopilot on.
Walker 4021, contact Charlotte departure.
Alright. So we're going to head on over this way. Because clearly it's not doing what it should be. We're not on the right track.
Walker 4021, contact Charlotte departure.
Oops. We're going to end up going too fast. Contact Charlotte departure, Walker 4021. My goodness, this is just going way, way too fast. Oh, and now we got people screaming. So we're going to have unpleasant flight. Whoop. No. I think we're turning too sharply. So, I'm doing a pretty bad job here. But we'll see how things go. Very bumpy. It's a lot more turbulent than I expected. Let's see. Alright. Is it going to work now? Why is it not doing LNAV? So I must have something on my... Alright, I gotta be careful that I'm not... Okay, we're gonna go direct, execute, there we go. Alright, and then we're gonna get V-speed up. Whoa! Alright. V-speed up. So let's get all that going here. Alright, we should be pretty good here. We'll see how things go. So, people are not going to be happy with us, let's just say that. Alright, well, let's do our announcement here.
Good afternoon once again from the cockpit. I hope all is well with you and you're enjoyed flying with us so far. Just a quick broadcast to let you know that we will be keeping the seatbelt signs on for a few more minutes as we are expecting some fairly difficult weather up ahead as we make our climb. Keep an eye on the overhead panel, and as soon as we're clear, I'll turn off the sign and you'll be able to move around the cabin. Thank you.
Alright, So we're going to speed this up. And so I'm going to crank the engines up some. That will help. But at least we're on track now. Man, this is bumpy. I do not understand. That is not what I expected. I mean, that's why I told him the severe turbulence. At least I guess, you know, we'll be in good shape with that. But wow. All right. So we're heading up. All right. Charlotte departure, Walker 4021. 4,000 on the way to 5,000.
Walker 4021, Charlotte departure, radar contact, cleared direct Lacan, resume to Bobsy 5. Climb and maintain 11,000.
Too much going on. Now I'm speeding. Climb and maintain 11,000, Walker 4021.
Negative, cleared direct Lacan.
Cleared direct Lacan, Walker 4021. Alright, that should slow me down enough, as long as we don't get in trouble for being on things too much. We're going to have drink service in 9 minutes, if everything goes according to plan. Man, I hope the turbulence calms down a little bit. It's a bit crazy. Alright, so should be able to tell them we're climbing to cruise.
Good afternoon once again from the cockpit. I hope you're enjoying the flight so far. We're currently climbing up to our cruising altitude of 22,000 feet, so I thought I'd give you a quick update. We're making good progress towards our destination and expect to arrive on time as planned. You'll next hear from me just before we start our descent. I'll be sure to keep you updated if anything changes, but in the meantime, please feel free to relax and take advantage of our onboard facilities. Thanks very much.
Alright, I'm gonna release.
Hi, Captain.
Never
I'll
mind.
call you
I
back
guess.
in a sec. Sorry.
So
No
once
problem.
above 10,000, we can.
Walker 4021, contact Atlanta Center 125.15.
Cabin crew, you're free to resume duties.
Contact
Ladies and gentlemen, the
125.15
captain has
Walker
fastened
4021.
seatbelt sign, and you are now free to move around the cabin. However, be aware as we might pass through unexpected turbulence. Toilets are located
Atlanta
in front
Center,
and
Walker
on the back of this
4021,
airplane.
9,000
Assistance, don't
on
hesitate to ask.
on the way
We
to
hope you enjoy
11,000.
your flight.
Walker 4021, stay altitude.
9,000.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, good day. Climb and maintain flight level 220.
Maintain flight level 220, Walker 4021. Alright, things should calm down a little bit now. So, we're heading up there. Pretty good. Now we're on cruise. This is, I don't know, I've missed a few things here and there, but again, it's been a little more hectic than it should have been. That's for sure. So we're on our way to lock in, as they said. So that was the issue. We needed vectors to lock in. And so the autopilot was not working because it was expecting like heading mode and that I would do things that way. So shame on me. I should have thought of that. But we've got 9 passengers. This is what we have. Again, as I said, we're heading towards St. Louis, so we're going pretty much a little bit northwest, I suppose. We're going up a little bit. Right now, we're actually southwest of the airport, so we've kind of looped around. Once we turn on lock-in, we'll be heading a little closer to 270. You can see we're at 253 right now. Let me change and turn off the seatbelt sign. And we shouldn't need the landing lights anymore. So that'll work. And now we should just be getting passed off from one center to the other. Alright, we're turning here onto Lachlan. And then we're going to have 10 nautical miles, and that will get us to Bobsey. And then we're technically off the standard instrument departure, or SID, that we would have had to clear the airport. And then we have 4 or 5 waypoints as we fly across the country till we hit the standard approach, which is Boosh 3. And then we'll be heading down and trying to do the ILS approach again. Beyond ATC may not pick some of that up. It may change things on us. I'll decide if I'm following it or just following my plan as we get closer. But been doing these flights until I hear otherwise, or next couple are going to be pretty long, so those I think I may cut some things out of, because otherwise I think we're talking like 3-hour flights, because we've got 1,500 or 1,800 miles, and again we're likely going to be doing those in the Cessna, which is not necessarily that much slower than anything else we've got, but it's certainly not as fast. You can see we're only going 175. Now again, we are climbing at a good clip here, but once we level out, I think we can only go up around 300, so we can't quite go as fast as an airliner, so it will take us a little bit of time on some of those other flights. But for now, we are going to keep this going. We've got what? Really? I was estimating 2 hours and 20 minutes. I thought it was going to be an hour. I think it's the speed. Contact Atlanta Center 132.625, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 180, on the way to flight level 220.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
Alright, so should be pretty good. Yeah, Paget is near Charlotte, so per the VATSIM air traffic control I do, we're going to have drink service soon. I think that's what they're getting ready to announce.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes we will be starting the in-flight drink service. If you could please ensure all aisles are clear and bags are placed in the overhead lockers, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
So I think part of the problem is because I had such a difficult takeoff, I scrubbed off way too much speed that I normally wouldn't have. And so really I'm probably not going to gain it until we get to cruise level here. But that is why we're getting the time we are. It's down to 2 hours, 10 minutes because we've sped up a little bit. But as we basically gain another nearly 100 knots, that should come down pretty quickly, I would think, because I think it was just slightly over an hour to make this flight. Got 473 nautical miles to go according to this. I don't think we're circling the airport in the approach we have. I didn't really look at it in detail, but we're coming in on runway 30 right, so obviously we're going to be coming in from the north, so there will be a little bit of that, but or actually no, we'd be coming from the south. Never mind. So yeah, we should be okay. Alright, leveling out here. So you can see it's V-Alts capture is what we're getting told. And then that will slow down, and then we're basically going to switch that climbing thrust into forward thrust. So you can see we're starting to accelerate now. Below 2 hours now on our destination. We'll just have to make sure we don't overspeed again. Let's see what kind of errors I have on my... yeah, it looks like on the smart cars we're not too bad. So I think we'll be all right, but we'll see. Hopefully I won't get a rejection. I mean, I dealt with it pretty quickly. It's not like I stayed there. So I'm at 96% on the engines. I tend to not climb too super high with the Cessnas. SimBrief initially wanted to send me to 40,000. I'm not even sure that it can operate that high. So there is sometimes that challenge that you have where things don't quite work the way you'd want them to work. But yeah, we're past Bobsey now by a little bit. We're now heading, yeah, you can see, go 5 miles away. Now we've got Braun, but then the next one's, you know, going to be a good ways. You know, and it's kind of cumulative, but you can see the 490 and so forth.
We are about to serve our drinks menu. Choose from our menu of hot tea and coffee or a number of soft drinks. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisles. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, it's like 53 nautical miles, it looks like, as I look at nav map between Brain and Ruit. I don't know what we're going to call that one, but we're going to go with it there. But yeah, now we're getting up near our maximum speed, so I'm definitely going to want to be careful with that. But I obviously also do want to take advantage of anything I can. But yeah, we're down to 1 hour and 20 minutes. So again, we've got food service 13 minutes from now, alcohol service 28 minutes from now. So there will be a point where there really won't be much happening at the tail end for folks. You know, so they may not enjoy that a whole lot, but oh well for them, I guess. All right, 288, because I think we will just continue to slowly creep up. But we don't want to get into that red line, or we're going to start not getting hit again with bad mojo. But we've got another plane here at, not over here. I'm like, why do I not hear sounds? There we go. So there's one at 24,000 that just passed over us, so, you know, a little bit of activity up here in the sky. But we're at least moving along, getting everybody where they need to be. Right now, sadly, slightly negative experience from our passengers, but I'm sure that's because they were flipping out at various points. They were that way before we took off, I'm sure, because we got pushed into the grass. Things didn't work really well, not the way we'd want them to. But we're coming up on Brain.
Walker 4021, contact Atlanta Center 135.35.
Contact Atlanta Center 135.35, Walker 4021. Alright, I'm going to back off my speed a bit here just to stop climbing. We're at 297 knots. Might be able to, I'd love to be kind of just staying there. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, Flight level 220.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
Alright, not quite sure. Some point we'll get passed off to Memphis. We will be passing over Nashville and Knoxville on our way here, so we're kind of heading now, getting back on, getting onto that northwest heading I was talking about. But again, we've got in excess of 450 nautical miles to go, so we don't have to have a very significant direction change here, so should be pretty good. But now we've got about 50 nautical miles, and then it looks like another 40 to the next point. So as I said, we've got really only 3 or 4 points, so I'm thinking we're going to be some pretty significant distances at some point. So we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on things, make sure everything works the way we expect. But again, we did leave Charlotte, so we were there for a race at that point. Let me look up the details. I don't recall what it was.
In a few minutes, we will be serving food. If you could please ensure all aisles are clear and bags are placed in the overhead lockers, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Alright, drink service did finish. So yeah, we were at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So that was our situation there around Memorial Day weekend, which is kind of normal for that. So our guests really enjoyed that experience. So not sure why I've got that up on the screen there, but yeah, it should be pretty quiet as we go along. As I said, we'll probably have a lot of passing along, obviously, between various air traffic areas. So I suppose for those who are interested with Beyond ATC, they do say on the website that we should expect early access to last a year or 2. So we're likely not going to have everything pinned up and together for a long time yet. Now, I don't think that is how, that basically that's saying we don't have traffic for that long. I think we're going to get some forms of traffic over that time, but I think we're definitely talking periods of months before any significant differences happen, rather than weeks, for certain. So I think I've said in other videos that I'm not really expecting traffic before 2025. We might be surprised, but until we have that, there's not a whole lot that will be happening on the air traffic network. So that certainly has been some of the complaints, I guess I would say, from people who are less than thrilled about it. I've got some folks I recommended the product to take a look at, and while they're like, yeah, it's better than ATC, but hey, there's this huge disparity, like nothing really happens as you fly. Well, that there's no traffic, and I'm like, that's true, but traffic is coming, so just be aware of that. And so if you are considering going ahead and digging into that, just be aware that that's probably the situation. But that is one of the reasons with the longer flights, because even on this one, I think, there's going to be a pretty dull center section here, unless we somehow experience some sort of a equipment failure, which could happen, but normally does not. So should be okay. We shouldn't have anything going on. And again, with Beyond ATC, it doesn't deal with that.
Contact Atlanta Center 132.625.
Contact Atlanta Center 132.625, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 220.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
And I am using the basic voices. You know, I do share that periodically. Obviously, I haven't done that in this video, so you know, I don't want to assume that everyone's watching everything. That would be a wonderful thing to have happen, but I'm also realistic. First off, I do, you know, when I'm putting a lot of things out, I'm doing exactly that. It's a lot of things. So I don't know that a lot of people would devote that much time to one channel, or even if they did, that they'd watch that much content. So, you know, I'm expecting people are sampling what they want to deal with and understanding what's going on as they go along. But yeah, we're still not at... I'm calling it Brain. I don't know. You may call it something different. Maybe Brian, just not say Brain. I don't know. But it's, you know, Bravo, Romeo, Alpha, Yankee, November. Kind of looks like Brain to me. But with the longer flights, that's why I think, you know, we'll just maybe do the climb and descent, you know, some of the things in between, you know, because other than the self-loading cargo kind of doing its thing and just having announcements in the back, obviously, again, we can always hear passengers. I'm not sure if on this configuration, if the restroom is in the back, which I think on a citation like this it would be. It wouldn't be right up front by the cockpit. But I'm like, I just realized, you know, I'm not hearing that toilet flushing sound that we get on the commercial airliners, because there we do have lavatories right outside the cockpit door. But we are past Asheville, North Carolina. As I look at the map here, we are going to be heading into and over the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, so that's what we're seeing kind of over here. We'll shortly be turning a little bit more northwest, and then that is where we'll be going over
Walker
Cherokee.
21. Contact Atlanta Center 127.55.
Contact Atlanta Center 127.55, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 220.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, roger.
So we'll be turning a little more to the northwest. So yeah, we've got a Spirit A320 up there. Well, one of those is an A320, the other one's a Delta 737. So the lower one would be Delta. Spirit's up there, so. Or actually that's Spirit Wings, I'm sure, so. Alright, so we're turning. So we're going to be passing by Cherokee, North Carolina, which is at the southern entrance off the main road. We're going to basically stay to the west of the main road through the park, which means Gatlinburg is also going to be a good, I don't know, 10, 15 nautical miles from us as we emerge. But at this point, yeah, we're heading over that space with the Great Smoky Mountains, which is one of my favorite national parks. I really enjoy it. Great hiking. Just all around, really, really a wonderful place to go to. If you haven't and get the chance, highly, highly encourage you to do so. But, you know, we're outside the park right now, but really basically kind of couple of the ridge lines. So the road's really kind of going to head here. I think I'm not sure if that's the actual road in or if that's a river, but I think the road is here. So yeah, it's more like this way, so I think the road's going near it. We're seeing a river. And then, you know, like I said, because there is like the loop as it's getting a little higher, because this is kind of the ridge line there. There are some roads that continue out that way, but then it'll basically go through here, and then I think Gatlinburg is right in that space there. So that's kind of one of the big tourist towns, and then you'll have Pigeon Forge and Knoxville's kind of up here, there type of thing. But yeah, we are well over the park now, so pretty nice to be flying over here. The wind sound, I don't know how well it's coming across, but man, wind is really blowing. Food service is going to be starting almost immediately, so they'll be doing that while we're passing over the park. And we will be continuing on here. So it looks like there's a plane landing at Gatlinburg. It's only at like 1,700 feet right now, so definitely coming in. Alright, here comes the announcement.
We are about to serve our hot food and snack menu.
I was outside, I realized we wouldn't hear it.
Is in the down position and clear any items from the aisles. Thank you.
Alright, and then in 14 minutes they're starting the alcohol, but on this flight that should be okay. Because again, we've only got 9 passengers, so it shouldn't take that long for the cabin crew, especially with 2 of them to go ahead and service our folks. But park is wide but thin, and it's, you know, thin is relative, but when you're traveling at nearly 300 knots, you cross it pretty quickly. So we're basically 3/4 of the way through at this point already. Really almost done. In this direction, we may already be far enough west, but there's an area called Cades Cove. That may be kind of what we're looking at, but it does tend to be a little less forested and a little more open, but just not sure. But that's one of the first settled areas in the park, I think. There's some old cabins there if you go and do the what they call the motor tour. Basically drive around a loop road in that space. Alright, and we're going to be passing well south of Knoxville Airport, and, you know, Knoxville itself, probably, again, about 10 to 20 nautical miles is the way the path will take us. But we are still, alright, we are below 400, so that's good. Alright, that flight there is one, it's about 31,000 feet. They're actually climbing, but that is a CRJ-7. So, looks like call sign Blue Streak. So that is who that is from, but we are out of the park by probably a good 10 nautical miles at this point. So we are now into the regular areas, sadly. Always enjoy any kind of visit to the Smoky Mountains, even if it's just overflying. Just beautiful, beautiful land that is there, so. But yeah, relatively uneventful. It's been a bit since we've been passed off, and was making sure that maybe I didn't acknowledge something, but no, I did. But yeah, I don't know that we get handed off until we get handed off to Memphis. So, you know, we're here on the eastern edge of Tennessee, and then we're basically going to have to go all the way across. And St. Louis is on the border. It is on the eastern border of Missouri. You know, it's Missouri and Illinois. So we are going to have to kind of pop up there a little bit, but we'll see how it brings us in. But we're coming up on our next waypoint, and then again we've got a pretty solid distance, 133 nautical miles between Smith, which is where we're headed toward now, and then Bowling Green, which is a city in Kentucky. So we might be crossing into Kentucky then, in that 133 mile span. I'm not sure, but it looks
Walker
like
4021. Contact Atlanta Center 133.6. Have a good day.
contact Atlanta Center 133.6, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 220.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, Roger.
Right, so we have a slow-moving GA aircraft, but I think it's well below us. I think it's at like 9,000 feet, so... but it's just crossed our flight path. Alright, so turning a little bit more west. Not a ton. We'll still be going 290 to 300, I would imagine. But there you go. We're lining up on 299, back to 300. Might settle in, you know, not sure exactly where it'll be. And that contrail ahead of us is the Airbus 320 from Allegiant at descending from 34,000 feet, so they may be heading in somewhere to land shortly. Wondering, it could be Atlanta. I think they're kind of heading in that general direction. But 82 nautical miles to St. Louis, so still a pretty good ways. Yeah, it's still telling me 56 minutes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break the video here, and we'll just jump cut as we're closer, getting ready to descend, because it's already, you know, approaching an hour and not much going on. We've just got the alcohol service in 8 minutes, and then you're really not going to hear much of anything other than if I've got something to say, which I'm not really going to, because we're just flying. So I will see you in a bit.
Good afternoon once again from the cockpit. I hope you're enjoying the flight so far. We expect to be descending in around 20 minutes. The arrival weather forecast looks a little windy, but other than a few bumps, it should be a fairly straightforward approach into the airport. We're not expecting any delays, so we should be able to land fairly quickly. Once we do begin our descent, please listen to the cabin crew carefully and pay attention to any instructions they provide. Please also monitor the seatbelt sign during our approach. Thanks for flying with us, and I'll speak to you again soon.
All right, so going ahead and giving the PA announcement. I'm going to see if I can do the announcement to the intercom to my crew. Obviously they heard that.
Hi, Captain.
See, and this is the confusing part.
How are things in the back?
Everything seems to be okay. There's nothing to report.
All right, so
Okay, no problem. I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks.
so they have make sure you communicate. Yeah, see, that's just... Okay.
The number you have dialed has not been recognized. Please try again in
I'm like,
version 1.7.
I see.
Hi.
Because they just have, can I have some water? Can I have a snack?
Hello.
So,
Can I call you back?
there just isn't anything.
No problem.
But it scores me for 25 points. Make sure you communicate the time frame for descent to your cabin crew. So it's frustrating because I'm never able to do that, but it won't let me do that. And maybe it's because I need to do it first, but the PA thing is, I don't know. I'll have to try it different ways. But in any event, I'm going to wait a little bit yet. We're still like 40 minutes from landing, but I just wanted you to at least be aware of the descent notification. Alright, so it's telling me we're about 25 minutes out. We were less than 150 nautical miles. Now again, there may be some movement here and there, so we'll have to see, but I wanted you on before air traffic started giving me more calls, giving me instructions to descend and so forth. So again, we are now headed toward the start of the star, the Bush 3 star, which is Bush, the waypoint. We'll see how things go. It says we're 80 some miles away, but our descent point should happen sometime in between there. Got myself dialed down to 12,000 just so that we're ready to go. You can see we're going at heading 291, and you can see a little bit of what we've got here. We're kind of going to come in and then, you know, transition in that way. So, but still not within 25 miles of descent, but it is, you know, somewhere in here, and this is a 100-mile circle, so I think, you know, within 50 miles or so that will bring us down. But we're literally just at the 12th waypoint, so again, it's a very simple and kind of direct plan as it goes. We'll be heading down shortly, just looking at something else while we were flying along there, so apologize a little bit for that, but gonna keep moving along and hopefully it'll be pretty quiet. And hopefully we'll be descending pretty cleanly, and more importantly, we won't have any weird type of approach or anything. Now this is where Beyond ATC's a little bit confused sometimes, that it just doesn't quite know what to do, because I think, you know, the approaches aren't in SimBrief. And so, since it's not reading anything from within the system, not sure. I am on version 0.37, so I'm going to maybe include that as I go through most of the videos, because that may become important. They do put out what is happening on the release notes. I know they did a bunch of adjustments for runway recommendations and so forth, because especially I have run into that once or twice where it's basically using a general aviation runway for a commercial aircraft, and so you're in essence doing this really difficult landing because you're landing on like a 7,000 foot runway when the airport has a 12,000 foot runway, but they divert you over there. So obviously you'd prefer not to do that if you could, but not always something that does happen.
Walker 4021, contact Kansas City Center 125.3.
Contact Kansas City Center 125.3, Walker 4021. So this may be where it does it. Kansas City Center, Walker 4021, flight level 220.
4021, Kansas City Center, roger.
We are still 118 miles out, so this would still be a little bit before we'd normally descend, and obviously that's why we're not descending, because even the computer isn't calculating that we need to do it, so we may get a handoff yet before we do any other pieces. Not quite sure how everything will go that way. But, yeah, just a pretty quiet, uneventful flight. Again, not something different than we'd expect. You're not looking for super exciting flights, that's for sure. So we will keep moving along. I wish I had more to share with you and more to say, but there's really not much to go through. I've got everything set. I did have to, get rid of a point where when we come off of the star that we go to the ILS, because that was manual, but that has been changed, so, we should be good. Again, at Bush, we should be at 14,000, so we should begin descending before that, so sometime in the next 50 miles, and there we go. Speak of the devil there, 24 nautical miles or so, there's our top of descent.
Walker 4021,
and there we go.
Via Bouche Tree arrival. Lambert St. Louis Airport landing runway tree 0 right. Altimeter tree 022.
Descend via Bouche 3, runway 30 right, altimeter 30.22, Walker 4021. Sorry about that. Started sneezing, so muted my microphone. But let's go ahead and get ourselves... Nice thing with the Cessnas, I can dial this in early. Alright, more sneezes coming after me, so hopefully it won't be too bad. But we're descending via the Bouche 3 arrival, so we have to be above 14,000 at Bouche, so I guess we'll put that in here. But we can be anywhere other than that. But the CJ4 is pretty good at, like, once you hit it, it's like the Boeing, that it just goes down. You don't have to initiate the descent manually, so that is always nice. And I'm thinking, other than getting to the approach, Kansas City, I'm assuming, is the TRACON that we're dealing with for everything in the space for St. Louis. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what we've got. Good news is everybody is satisfactory flight on self-loading cargo, so we should be okay there. People are saying they're getting hungry. Now, the other thing that's interesting, because it's saying passengers need to use the toilets, I have the seatbelt sign off, but it's not indicating that. I wonder, let's see. I guess I could have manually done that. And then, so I guess we'll let them run and use the toilet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the seatbelt
there we go.
sign, so you are now free to move around the
So,
cabin.
problem is we're going to start descending soon, so I may have to do that faster than I would have liked, because, yeah, we're at top of descent here. So hopefully they'll all go quickly. So I didn't realize without the sign that it might have not picked it up, but clearly it did not. It's not tied well to the CJ4. Alright, well, there goes our descent. And as long as we are... Alright, I need to slow down my engines here, or we're going to overspeed very quickly. As long as we're above 10,000, I don't need to turn on the seatbelt sign. So they have some time. They don't have a lot of time, but they do have some time. Right, but yeah, we've got, I mean, 8 people are seated, but let me see if I can, whoops. Well, we theoretically have 2 toilets, so you can see it. I left it on the screen for you here. But we've got people moving around. Okay, so they are using them. Now there's only 2 secured. But again, we've got time. We're at 20,000 feet. See, and I gave descent notification, and then I lost all the points, because it says you were within 0 minutes of your estimate of 0 minutes. I gave an estimate of 20 minutes, and I used it via buttons. And then I was within 18 minutes of my estimate of the accurate top of descent announcement. So, I don't know. But anyway, I should be... Let's see if I have to do anything on intercom. But I should announce the top of descent. So,
sorry, can I call you back?
No problem.
So, nothing that I can give them. So we're going to do this. Descent starting.
Good afternoon.
Started
once
our
again
descent.
From the cockpit. As you may have noticed, we've begun our descent. We should be arriving in around 20 minutes, depending on local air traffic, and I will shortly be instructing the cabin crew to get the cabin ready for our arrival. Once that happens, the seatbelt sign will be illuminated, and you will be required to stay seated and secured until after landing. If you need to visit the toilet, it may be worth making your way towards one now. For now, though, I will wish you a very good afternoon once again, and I'll speak to you in a short while once we've landed.
Alright, so... Other than those 25 points, like we got 50 out of 50 points for making the start or descent announcement, the accurate time of departure, like things in general appear okay, but okay, so the good news is 9 people are seated, so hopefully that means nobody's, you know, I don't have any yellows anymore to indicate any in-flight issues, so I think everyone that's needed to go to the toilet has gone. But then I need to, you know, that I need to turn the seatbelt on, and then I have to do a prepare for arrival announcement, prepare the cabin. So those are things that I'm always not that great at doing. We're right on our slope here. All right, I'm going to change this over from standard. So, I mean, we're a little bit above, but it really shouldn't be blinking at that point, given that we're right at 18,000. I mean, it knows what I'm doing, for goodness sakes, but whatever. Alright, I can probably speed up a little more, because we're only going like 220. I mean, I don't want to go too fast, but the descent's working out pretty well. But right now it's showing me 9 of the 9 are seated, 4 are secured. So not everybody's got their seatbelt back on. But basically, you know, once we start getting around past Boosh and whatever, we're going to want to probably start doing that. I mean, again, we got to be above 14. Then it Dena, which is like 14 miles away. We want to be below 11,000. Again, really, we don't need the seatbelt until we're here at Hartso. You know, but that's the challenge. It probably was closer to 30 minutes. I honestly probably should have estimated higher. I was looking at the number here. But, it is what it is. At this point, I can't change it. That's kind of how the game works with self-loading cargo. It's a little bit of, hey, how accurate can you be? Can you maintain your flight speeds? Can you kind of forecast appropriately, so forth and so on. But yeah, we're still on Kansas City Center. We've not done anything different. I'm thinking once we hit Bush, though, we might be transferred to the airport. But I'm not quite sure. But we're under, what, 5 miles? So, getting close. Again, we're following the glide slope that it wants us to have. But weather's pretty nice. I am using real weather in this case. With the Cessna, sometimes it's hit or miss. Like if I know that it's really going to be bad, or the ceiling's really low because the Cessna doesn't have an auto land, I tend to maybe change the weather then. Alright, let's see. We've got 2 miles, 2.5. So we're getting there. We're just still, I mean, again, we need to be above 14,000. It tends to be a good amount above, which I'm not a real fan of. You know, we're going to be 1,000 feet up, because then, you know, when we're trying to go to somewhere like where we need to be below 11,000, we then have this challenge. So I'm going to decrease things, because once again, so I'm going to make it say 10,500.
Walker 4021, contact Kansas City Center 125.5.
Contact Kansas City Center 125.5, Walker 4021. Kansas City Center, Walker 4021, descending through 14,000 on my way to 11,000.
Walker 4021, Kansas City Center, roger.
So, I definitely do enjoy the Beyond ATC. It just makes things a lot more realistic. Gives you something to do, even though it's pretty minimal. I mean, sometimes you go 20-30 minutes between having to switch controllers or something on the longer flights, but, you know, it works. Alright, so we're going to turn the seatbelt on. Alright, so keeps moving me around, so I don't know. And now I think I want to make the PA system.
Cabin crew, prepare the cabin for landing.
Alright, so did I see, now there's a seatbelt check, which I was supposed to do on the PA, but
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please make sure your seat is on its upright position and your seatbelt is fastened. Our crew will be soon preparing the cabin for our arrival. Thank you for your attention.
so interesting that, again, it isn't really sensing some things, but it's sensing others. So, alright, so not time yet. I don't want to do that, which is get them ready for landing. I know you can't see what I'm looking at, so that doesn't really help. Alright, so we need to, what is it? At Dena, be below 10,000.
Walker 4021, contact SD Lewis app approach 126.5.
Contact St. Louis approach 126.5, Walker 4021. St. Louis approach, Walker 4021, descending through 12,000 on my way to 7,000.
Walker 4021, verify information, Victor.
I have information, Victor. Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, ST Lewis app approach, altimeter tree 022, expect a visual approach runway tree 0 right.
Visual approach, runway 30 right. Walker 4021. Alright, so again, it's not telling me to use the ILS. It really should be, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, I need to be below 250, so I'm slowing myself down here a bit. So, we're passing that point. We want to be below 10,000. You know, we're not there yet. Next one is also where we'll be below. So we'll see how everything continues here. Are they secured? Like it's telling me I want to wait for them to notify. Oh, here we go. All right.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. All passengers are seated and secured for landing.
Okay.
You can take your seats now. We're almost ready.
No problem.
Okay, and again, I waited for the secure
All
cabin,
stations, seats for
but
landing, please.
okay, it did blink it eventually, so alright, so now I need to start paying a little bit of attention. I mean, we're still 40 miles away, but you know, now we're below 10, so I want landing lights on, seat belt is on. So let's see. Whoops.
Hi.
Call you back.
Sorry, can I call you back?
No problem.
Nothing I need from them. Let's see, on the PA system. Okay, no commands are available. So I guess I shouldn't be doing anything. Whoops. Now somehow something got messed up here, so let's clear this. Interesting. Alright, so at this point I want to go direct to Tyreesh. That will get me where I need to go. It wasn't letting me clear it out, and I was close enough that I didn't want to run into a problem.
Walker 4021, leave Teeb heading tree 45. Expect radar vectors for visual approach runway tree 0 right.
Heading 345, Walker 4021. Now, I'm heading 003, so this is where, again, because it's giving me a visual approach.
Turn left, heading tree 45, descend and maintain 3000, vectors for the approach.
Turn 345, descend and maintain 3000, Walker 4021. Alright, so I'm going to lower myself down to that. And we should be pretty good. So, we're going to let it continue because I want to be at 5,000 by Tyreesh. So in theory, I'm too high, but it should fix that there. Now again, we're 10 miles away, so I think we'll be all right. Alright, interesting stuff as I look at everything else. But yeah, the RNAV approach is a little bit different. And, you know, there is an actual approach that comes in from this direction that I'm heading in from. But, so the airport's, you know, really kind of up in that direction. So we're going to be heading in here and then turning on to the approach in a bit. But Tyreesh is where we would turn, so that's 6 miles or whatever we're at. Yeah, 6.5 miles. And now we're starting to get to the point here.
Walker 4021, turn left, heading 330.
I'll acknowledge it, but I'm not following it. Turn left, heading 330, Walker 4021. So again, I hope they kind of change that eventually. Because, you know, eventually she's going to start getting upset that I'm off course. Now, again, we'll be turning shortly and be kind of more than that. Let's see. Whoops. I didn't want to turn off autopilot. I wanted to turn on approach. This is what I was looking for. I saw AP and hit the button. Silly me. Alright, we're at the outer marker. You can see that blinking there, and that's what we're hearing. But should be pretty good here in a bit. Alright. Because, you know, we will have to take over. Unable next altitude. Why not? Should absolutely be able to next altitude. I just saw the message, so... Alright, so now we're going to turn. And then that should get us on the localizer and hopefully the glide slope soon. And if we can do that, we'll be in great shape. You know, because now we're approaching 15 miles out. But this is really kind of lining us up on the runway here. Because it is, to my knowledge, a straight line. So there we go. We've got the localizer. And we don't yet have the glide slope, though.
Walker 4021, airport is at your 12 o'clock, 17 miles. Report the field in sight.
I think we're getting... We should be locking into the glide slope here. Field in sight, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, cleared visual approach runway 30 right.
Alright, we're going to go down here. And we're going to descend. Because otherwise we have a problem. Like, I have the glide slope. I don't know why it didn't grab it.
Walker 4021, cleared visual approach runway 30 right.
Cleared 30 right, Walker 4021. There we go, now it grabbed it. Alright, so at this point I'm going to slow down a bit more. So we want to get to the point where we're getting our flaps going. And we're far too fast for that. I'm going to put out my gear. That will help move things down pretty fast. We can definitely see the field here.
Walker 4021, contact ST Lewis Tower 132.475.
Contact Tower 132.475, Walker 4021. So, speed up a bit. So I don't want to be plummeting and falling like a rock. I should be more in the 70s now. Alright, and then we will go the rest of the way with the flaps. And you can see the green dot going below 120. So that's kind of where we want to be. But we should be all set. Whoop. St. Louis Tower, Walker 4021, on approach for runway 30 right, passing through 3000.
Walker 4021, St. Louis Tower, wind 010 at 10, runway 30 right, cleared to land.
Runway 30 right, cleared to land, Walker 4021. Alright, so less than 2,000, or less than 3,000 feet, approaching 2,000, I think is what I was gonna say here. I think we're alright. We're a little faster, but it's fine. So I'm assuming that's the runway. You know what they say about assumptions, so could be a problem. See, and I have the seatbelt sign turned on, but it hasn't approved that on my self-loading cargo checklist, so, and that's 100 points. Everything else, though, looks good. Toilets locked, landing lights on, which is also 100 points, because that's an easy one to forget. And the real question is, you know, how close am I going to be on the time where I told folks we'd be landing, but of course, again, we say with traffic and so forth, so I assume as long as I'm not, like, doubling it or something, it should be realistic. But, what, 1,300, 1,400 feet, so we're buffeting around a bit, and obviously the ground is not, you know, as organized. Whoops, sorry, I'm zooming in, and I'm doing things screwy here. I'm zooming in on my little nav map. I know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm doing. You're just like, what is happening? But, anyway. So, we're passing over a cemetery. Interesting. Memorial Park Cemetery. And there's a Lutheran North High School that just went out of sight. I don't know what's on the left yet. But, where are we at? 800 feet? Man, the wind is a bit crazy. I don't like that, so I'm probably going to wait till 300, maybe 200 before I disengage. But, I mean, it did say 010 at 10, so 10 knots is not nothing wind, that's for sure. And with a smaller plane like this, yeah, like I'm watching my little nav map thing and I'm zoomed in quite a bit. I can see myself leaving the course. Alright, 500. Man, I am everywhere here. Hoping as I get closer, you know, the winds will be less. Because the issue is the winds are really like 70 degrees from where I'm at. They're really kind of pretty substantial crosswinds when we get down to it. I mean, they're almost coming directly from the sides, so that's part of the challenge here. But man, when do I disengage? It's the inner marker. Alright, so I'm going to back this off now, and we're going to float ourselves down, hopefully. I'm not looking at my landing rates, so that'll probably be bad. Oh, everybody's yelling. So that's probably not a good thing. So that's going to cost me some points, but oh well. Alright.
Walker 4021, exit left at Kilo.
Exit left at Kilo, Walker 4021. Now, I don't know if this is Kilo, but this is where I'm exiting, and I'm exiting left. I know that. And then once we cross, obviously it'll give us some other stuff. Alright.
Walker 4021, contact ground 127.55. Have a good day.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt.
Contact ground 127.55, Walker 4021.
Seatbelt sign is off. Please be careful while opening the overhead compartment. As items
Ladies
might
and
have fall
gentlemen,
during the
please
flight,
remain seated
our
until the
staff will
captain
help
turns
you
off the
complete your
seatbelt sign.
walker journey. And
Once
if
that
you need
happens,
any
we will
help,
start to
to
leave the
ask.
aircraft.
In behalf of our
Thank
crew
you.
and all the team,
St. Louis
thank you
ground.
so much for choosing
Request
flying with
taxi to
Walker
gate,
Air
Walker
Transport.
4021.
We hope to see you again soon and wish you a pleasant stay. Thank you.
Walker 4021, welcome to Lambert St. Louis Airport. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
Any gate, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, gate Echo 14 taxi via Echo 2, Echo Lima. Hold short runway 12 right.
Gate Echo 14 via Echo 2, Echo Lima. Hold short runway 12 right, Walker 4021. All right. So let's see. So we are gonna move along here. I see where I'm at, but the runway is between us, and I think Echo is back in that direction, so there's a big piece of asphalt here. So I'm actually going to go over to Delta. Someone's taken off. Speaking of Delta, that's a Delta flight that's taking off. But, you know, since I don't have a preference to the gate, we'll just let it guide us where it needs to. Alright, obviously we're not where it thinks, because usually it would tell us something. Waiting to cross runway 12 right at Delta, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, I didn't get that.
Waiting to cross runway 12 right, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021 did not copy.
Okay, I don't understand. I'll just let it do its thing here. I'll click on it manually.
Walker 4021, holding short 12 right.
I see.
Walker 4021, cross runway 12 right at Lima. Continue taxi via November Charlie.
Taxi via November Charlie, Walker 4021.
Negative, cross runway 12 right at Lima.
Cross runway 12 right at Lima, Walker 4021. Trying to find the gate on my little nav map. Okay. So there's Echo. I'm basically going to ignore it, but we'll go across. It's saying November Charlie, but problem is I don't know. Oh, I see where Lima is. Okay. Lima's the one over, but I'm already sitting here at Delta. Alright, well there's November, and then Charlie, I guess. Okay, so I didn't realize this was November. I thought this was Delta. Interesting. Alright, so we're heading over. These are the Charlie gates. And Echo 14 is going to be a little bit over. Again, Echo 14 might not actually be open. That's also going to be the problem. So little nav map also gives you the ground speed, which is great for something like self-loading cargo where you're limited to, you know, you want to stay under 30 knots. So this very clearly then gives you that indication. All right, so it's like Echo 22 there. Where is Echo 14? Alright, so I really should head up here. And we're going like 10 according to what I'm seeing. And again, it's not going to verify that we're there, but basically between those two southwest planes might be Echo 14. So that's where I'm going to head. Let's see. Whoop, nope, these two. So actually I was going to the other two southwest planes, but I think it's actually this one. Let me speed up a little bit, because now I've scrubbed off the momentum and we're really not moving at all. But yeah, it's this one here, I think. So we'll see if I can... Yeah, almost positive that this is... Well, it's GE14, so I'm thinking that's what it meant, but if it didn't, oh well. There we go. Alright, so we'll set our parking brake and turn off our lights, our beacon light. Turn off the seat belt. And then we want to connect to the APU. I can't contact ground yet, but I have to turn off engines. Let's just turn off all the engines once you're connected to ground power, but okay. So I can't do that yet because it's not letting me. So, and again, we have batteries, so we'll be okay. And in the end, as long as I turn off my engines, I'll be okay. Alright. So there we go. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Microphone check, please.
You're loud and clear. 5 over 5.
Roger. Okay, Captain. Ground power is available. Stand by. We'll start getting you offloaded in a couple of minutes.
Roger. Cabin crew, the aircraft is secure. Please open the doors when ready and begin deboarding.
All right. So we're going to thank everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you don't forget any items on this
Ladies
plane.
and gentlemen,
If you need
I'd like
any
to wish you a
help,
safe
our
onward
staff
journey.
Talking
and
over
enjoy
our
your
flight
flight.
crew.
Any assistance.
Thanks for flying with us,
wish
and
you
we
a
hope to see you again
pleasant
soon.
onward journey.
All right. I don't think.
Hello, Captain.
All right. So we can do
Would you mind
instant
waving your
deboard.
magic wand and getting the passengers offloaded straight away?
No problem.
All right. So it's instant deboarding is what it is, and
Ground to cockpit.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Okay, all back to the offload. We're closing up now. We'll see you next time.
Roger.
okay.
Hello?
Hi. All passengers have left the aircraft. Fantastic landing, by the way. Much appreciated.
Ah, it's all down to the autopilot, really. It's magical.
Call me if you need anything.
All right.
Ground to cockpit.
Ground to cockpit. What? I don't see them at all. I don't know what they're doing. Alright, so we're awaiting the cleaning crew to be done. But at this point, we're here. Actually not bad, other than that horrendous, kind of really crazy takeoff. I'll be curious. I mean, well, actually, we already have our flight report. So I'll pull that up here. We'll share that so you can see. All right, so here we go. Concord Paget, St. Louis Lambert, early arrival, 12 minutes early. We actually got a B-, so we did okay. And like I said, you know, airspeed, not so good. I had some crazy rolls and pitches and G-forces, so I lost a lot of points there. So definitely could have been smoother, but that's not a surprise. But this again, like, I did that, I think. I mean, I did a welcome on board, but like, ensure aircraft seatbelt is on before making the welcome announcement. Like, it was, but I may not have pressed the button in self-loading cargo and maybe it wasn't sensing it. Again, we were delayed a little bit. I had the transponder on, so I don't know what value it's checking, but then, you know, it was fine after that, so I don't understand. We were in the grass, so that was the movement off the taxiway. We didn't give the crew time to secure the cabin, so we lost 100 points there between those two. And then again, like, I gave this descent, but then somehow I didn't do it with the cabin crew, so maybe I need to talk to them first. And, you know, but all of this was actually pretty good at the end, which usually I have something that gets messed up, but glad it did. You know, I could have done a little bit better, because I think I was, yeah, at 1.31 Gs, 318, but it's alright. But all in all, we made it, and did a great job, which is all we can ask for. So hope you've enjoyed this flight on our NASCAR 2022 tour. If you have, drop me a like. I'd appreciate that. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider that. Next couple flights, again, because they are longer, I'm definitely going to kind of strip the middle out, because this was already really long just for 500 miles, and these other flights are 3 times the length of this. So you can only imagine. But we'll see how things go with that, because again, I think we're flying into, I think the first one, I think I might be able to use a bigger aircraft, because St. Louis here has a bigger runway, and I think where we're headed into Sonoma does, but then I think from Sonoma we're heading to a relatively small airport where the maximum length is 6,000 feet, so I can't be flying a 737 or something in there. Appropriately, that wouldn't work. So we'll probably be taking the Cessna, but it should get us there, because there's a little bit over a 2,000 mile range on a Cessna, according to what I see here. So we should be all right, but I'm not sure, because we did put quite a bit of fuel in to just get here. So we'll see what SimBrief tells us and so forth when we get closer to that. But that's a few weeks from now, and I will see you next time.